If you know anything about philosophy, chances are you've heard of the French writer Jean-Paul Sartre. Born in Paris in 1905 and known for his role in several philosophical movements in the 20th century France, Sartre was a novelist, a playwright, journalist, philosopher, and a political activist. After the death of his father when he was just 2, Sartre was raised by his mother and grandparents until the age of 12. It was his grandfather who introduced him to reading at a very young age. Sartre's mother remarried and the family moved from Paris to La Rochelle in southwestern France. But young Sartre, who was blind in his right eye and looked cross-eyed, was often bullied at his new school. This is when he began to find a retreat into his books. When he came across the famous essay by Henry Bergson, Time and Free Will, his interest in philosophy was ignited. In 1929, while studying in France's prestigious university, Sartre came across mescaline, a hallucinogenic drug, which is similar to LSD. In an interview with John Grassi, Sartre said that the drug made him feel chased by it. He said, I quote, "They followed me in the streets, into the class. I got used to them. I would wake up in the morning and say, 'Good morning, my little ones. How did you sleep?' I would talk to them all the time." Unquote. According to the biography of Sartre by Annie Cohen-Solal, his daily drug consumption consisted of 2 packets of cigarettes, several tobacco pipes, over a quarter of alcohol, 200 milligrams of amphetamines, some black coffee, and heavy meals. Following this routine, Sartre would become ill after a few days, which was not surprising to anyone. For a few days, the tobacco would be cut down, but then he would bounce back to his old routine. During World War II, Sartre was drafted in the army in 1939. He served as a meteorologist but was captured by German forces and imprisoned for 9 months. After release from there due to his poor health, Sartre was released from his army duties. While he was in imprisonment, Sartre wrote his first play, Beriona fille du tonnerre, or Beriona in English. During that period, he also read Being and Time by the German philosopher Martin Heidegger, who influenced his later work to a great extent. Jean-Paul Sartre had one of the most brilliant minds, and his lifelong companion Simone De Beauvoir was one of the first feminist critics the world took notice of. Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone De Beauvoir bonded as soon as they met as students in Paris in 1929. And soon after their final year, in which he ranked top and she at second position, Sartre proposed her for marriage. But Simone refused. Apparently, she was sleeping with one of Sartre's best friends already. And so, on October the 1st, 1929, Sartre suggested their famous pact, which is being talked about even after so many decades, that they would have their permanent, essential love. In this arrangement, both would sleep together, but also would have affairs on the side, of which they must describe every intimate detail to each other. This strange but marvelous arrangement continued through letters, even when Sartre was taken as German prisoner and had sleeping partners there too. And of course, Simone gave the details of each partner she slept with in these months of separation. Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone De Beauvoir were perhaps the most influential couple of the 20th century. Their legendary love pact, in which they never got married but swore mutual devotion to each other, with the freedom to have affairs is spoken about even today. They said it was their own way of an attempt to overthrow the stifling hypocrisy that for long had dictated most people's lives. The couple never had wanted any children. Yet in 1965, to Simone's dismay, Sartre had adopted his mistress, a 25-year-old Algerian, Arlette El-Kaim, as his child. In the year 1964, Sartre was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. He turned down the prize for several reasons that he outlined in a French newspaper called Le Figaro. The points that he stated were: he always turned down official awards. He refused to have his work associated with any type of institution in order to guard his freedom. He called for the Nobel Prize to be distributed throughout the Eastern and Western countries. When Jean-Paul Sartre died in 1980, 50,000 people turned out on the Paris streets to mourn. Simone De Beauvoir, who was heartbroken at that point, wrote the epitaph for the tomb, which later they both shared, and which reads, "His death separates us. My death will not reunite us."